Welcome to the channel. It's the main manga haul. Excited for you to join us and excited to show you everything that I got this month, both the planned things that I got this month and a lot of the unplanned things. Just like most other hauls that I have in this video, there's a lot of stuff that I spontaneously bought that I really saw and thought, man, I would like that. So I'm excited to get into it. But first, thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. Yeah! Assuming by the time this video releases that we're not back under 2,000. Thank you so much for enjoying the content. We got a lot of things planned in store and I hope you stick with us along the way. But for now, let's just get into the manga haul. The first one starting out is a Shojo series that I haven't really ever heard before, but after reading the description on online and stuff, I felt like this is definitely something that can be right up my alley, and it is the whole box set of Blackbird. I found this at a Half Price Books. I recently went to go sell to Half Price Books because I don't really like selling online, to be honest. All the volumes that I just didn't enjoy. I mean, truth be told, even though I buy a lot of manga, there's a lot of manga that I don't like. And so I sold somewhere around 35 to 40 volumes or whatever, and I got $80 out of it, which was honestly a surprise to me because a lot of those were just paperback $10 Viz volumes. So once I saw this for $70, and by the way, these volumes are in pretty good condition, I will say, I decided to go ahead and check it out. I can go ahead and read it. I might actually do a review video on it, kind of like how I did Bleach, or maybe more along the style of the Boxer, or maybe get into spoiler territory, because I do know it's a little bit of an older shoujo series, so if you haven't seen it yet, anyways, but that's the only box set I got. Everything else is really just loose volumes, although something else, I bought so many singles of it, it could become its own box set. It's going to be a mix of new releases and random things that I picked up. There's not going to be much rhyme or reason in this video like there usually is, so let's just flip the camera around and see how it goes. Okay, going into the mix first, we have Classroom of the Elite Year 2 Volume 4.5. I'm glad I got this 4.5 early. I don't know if it's essential or anything like that, but I know that in year 1, Classroom of the Elite 4.5, it took me so long to get. I even made a TikTok about it that I might show right now.
I need to feel something. Harry, can you tell me something that'll piss me off? Boba Fett's better than Mondo. Yep, that'll do it.
But anyways, I'm glad to get this one in my hands. I need to catch up a little bit on Classroom of the Elite, maybe incorporate it in my manga bingo videos or whatever in the future, but glad to have this one. Next up, I have Colorless Volume 4. Colorless is one of those action series, sci-fi action series that have really laid low in the 7 Seas industry and part of their publishing licenses that they've got. Colorless is an interesting series that really regards the aspect of color. It really utilizes color. I'm trying to, there we go. There's one that I can show you right there. It only very sparingly uses color in different moments in this series, which I think is really, really cool. If you don't remember, I mentioned the same thing with the maid I recently hired is Mysterious, that series, although I don't like it as much as Colorless. I like the action in here, and it's fun, it's cool, the story is interesting. A lot of it is overthrowing a government type thing. It's not necessarily a government, but this organization. So very, very cool. Very, very excited to get into that, as well as Volume 2 in the collector's edition of Marmalade Boy. So this is another shoujo classic that I've put on my shelf. Now, Marmalade Boy, very, very beloved in the shoujo community. I feel like I hear a lot of really good things about it, and now that they're putting them out in these collector's editions, people are very, very excited to get these. They do have some colored pages as well inside of it, like this one. This is just a regular colored manga page. I mean, it's colored, it's not black and white, so very, very pretty. I love these kinds of books that 7 Seas is doing right now with Marmalade Boy. I like where they're going in this direction. I'm excited to really get into it, much like I am excited to get in the second volume of Chojin X. A lot of people have mentioned Chojin X lately, finally getting it and putting it on their shelves, and I am one of those people. Sui Ishida, the mangaka for it, the story and artist of this series, the creator of Tokyo Ghoul as well. Absolutely stunning, excellent visuals as well. Pretty good story. I don't know if it's got the same impact on people as Tokyo Ghoul, but I do know that people have been really enjoying this and it's been fun. I really like this kind of color aspect that Sui Ishida has been doing in these manga covers. They're just like, you know, they've got the square, and the square is very colorful, it's very bright, vibrant, it pops out at you. Very, very nice. You probably don't know this person though. This is Kokyo Shinja, creating Peach Boy Riversides. Longtime viewers will know that I am a Peach Boy Riverside fan of the manga, not necessarily the anime. I think officially, I looked at it the other day with the video that I produced on how much manga I've actually read in my collection. I think I was about 8 volumes into this series. So this is volume 11 specifically. This was a new release over by Kodansha. So very excited to get into this. Very excited to jump into the world once again, hopefully soon. And hopefully I mean, the story was always really interesting between the powers of the Peach people, I guess you could say. Not necessarily Peach people with, you know, all the... Anyways, if you know what I'm talking about. But I'm excited to jump into it. Much like this new series that recently released in English from the mangaka of Full Metal Alchemist, Hiromu Arakawa. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. This is Demons of the Shadow Realm. Unlike Full Metal Alchemist being a Viz franchise, well, franchise is a license, but it's basically a franchise at this point. This is being handled by Square Enix. Where is Square Enix? Right there, Square Enix manga. So Square Enix, I've been getting a little bit more and more of Square Enix volumes. I mean, the Soul Eater collector's editions, My Dress Up Darling, Mob Psycho is Dark Horse, I'm sorry, but Demons of the Shadow Realm, another Square Enix. This looks like pretty all right condition. I know a lot of people have been mad about Square Enix, but I've heard good things about this series. And also, you know, if you enjoy Full Metal Alchemist, this is another one to sink your teeth into. This is the next series that you can get into. Can't promise that it's just as good, but it seems really, really nice. Just like this other shoujo series that has been hitting the shelves over by Yen Press, Honey Lemon Soda Volume 2, just like Marmalade Boy. I know so many people were excited when Yen Press announced Honey Lemon Soda, along with like Oshinoko, K-On, you know, all these different licenses, Pandora 7, things like that. So Honey Lemon Soda, the second volume, is now out and on shelves for you to get and collect and enjoy. And I'll be probably putting out a video soon about Honey Lemon Soda, because Yen Press actually sent me volume 1 for free, so I have to review it and read it and talk about it. I mean, I don't have to put out a video about it, but I do want to read it and talk about it and put a video, because I want to make more videos. I've been putting a lot of videos out lately. And a volume that is probably getting a lot of talk on YouTube and things like that in the manga community. It is Horimiya Volume 16, the final volume of Yen Press, or maybe final, who knows. I do know it was just shortly before recording this. I mean, well, shortly as in like a week ago at this point. Hiro and Daisuke Hagiwara announced that there will be more chapters. They're like epilogue chapters that come up of Horimiya, because this is the final volume 16 that took so long to get to the United States and the rest of the world outside of Japan. People are so excited about this, a beloved series for romance fans, slice of life fans, including myself. I loved Horimiya the anime, and so I went out and got all the manga volumes, and I've been waiting for this one for a while. For any longtime viewers may know that I've been picking these up left and right, but I'm excited to get into the final volume to officially end the story, and then hopefully, you know, we get those epilogue chapters. I think there's like 3 epilogue chapters I think they said that are planned to come out, so be on the lookout for that news. I'll probably talk about it when we get it. One series that I've seen 1 or 2 people talk about lately about how it's been real good is Blue Box. This is volume 4 of Blue Box. This is a sports romance manga for anyone who does not know. I think it's like rom-com as well. It's got two different main characters in it, the male and female love interest, the female love interest being a basketball junkie and the other one being badminton. That's what it is. And they've got lofty goals. The badminton boy wants to go to nationals, right? And so this gal that is very, very good at sports, you know, he's kind of getting these feelings for her and things like that, and their relationship evolves from there. So volume 4, it's kind of getting into the motion where I'm like, okay, I got to decide if I want to or not, because I thought it was good, I thought it was fun, I thought it was nice, but it's not like a hook that I've got with a bunch of other romance series. I've already showcased so many other romance series like Horimiya and stuff like that in this video already. Staying on the topic of romance and right up my alley, it's Sasaki and Miyano First Years. This is the novel that came out for Sasaki and Miyano. I believe Sasaki and Miyano are different years though, right? That's right, because I think these two are the same age and then these two are the same age, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've read it or jumped into it, but this yen on title, very, very nice. I love Sasaki and Miyano. I very much enjoyed it. I'm happy to get into the BL novel of this series. I think there's going to be also a second year's novel that comes out after this, which is basically like novel 2. And then I assume third year and fourth and final year or something along those lines. I don't know. I'll have to look out for it. A series though that's on the back half of production. It's Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible Volume 7. This 12 volume completed rom-com series. This is a seinen rom-com series, by the way, in case anybody was wondering. Is one that is very enjoyable to a lot of people, and I think its anime is still coming out with episodes. I know they had a pretty big delay because of COVID-19. They had some people that got COVID and stuff in their production team, but I think they're back on track, and I think they finished the season, I think, or they're really, really close, one of the two, or they're planning to do it. Maybe it's the English dub is releasing episodes right now that I saw. I think you can watch this on High Dive, but if you want to read it, it is a Viz Media volume, and I believe it's part of like the new Viz Media apps too, or Shonen Jump apps. So I think this is on the Viz Media side, not the Shonen Jump side. If there's one volume of manga that you need to walk away with next time you go to the bookstore, it's this one, Boys Abyss Volume 1. I have read this volume and I love this series. Now, before though you go into it, I will say there are some trigger warnings about like depression, things like that. I would highly advise, if you are someone that is easily triggered by various things, whatever that may be, please look up the different warnings that are in this series. This is not for the faint of heart. This is Boys Abyss, and I don't want to talk it too much because this has got the same level of something like Oshi no Ko almost, I think, for anybody who has read volume 1 of Oshi no Ko, of just like the impact of certain things of like, wow, oh my gosh, like wow, that hit. And so it's very, very interesting. It's very, very good. I'm so excited for the next volume to release. I don't even know when it is. I just know it's not right now, and soon I'll get it, and soon I'll read it, and soon I'll tell you all about it, because I think when 1 or 2 more volumes come of this series, I definitely want to make a video. I love this story. The art in here is beautiful. I mean, this cover in general right now is beautiful enough. That's kind of what enticed me in that, and HVL manga kind of talking about it. But I really enjoy this series. I think everybody should get on it as soon as possible, and as well as this technically completed 3-volume series. I read volume 1 of this. This is volumes 1, 2, and 3 being a recent release of PTSD Radio. So this is a horror series that released out in Japan. 3 volumes is all it is, but it's technically not done. It's technically on indefinite hiatus by Masaki Nakayama. Now, Kodansha picked these up, and these are very, very good quality in my opinion. I really like these covers. I think they're done well. The gloss on here, as you can kind of see like on the eye, these faces just look so insanely creepy. It looks so good. I read volume 1. I thought it was really good. Volume 1, by the way, could be wrapped It could not be wrapped. Be warned if you're reading it out in public like I was and you got to the back portion of volume 1 and then all of a sudden there was taxes. But anyways, the reason that this is on hiatus, if you do not know, indefinite hiatus, is because the mangaka stopped wanting to make chapters of this series. And the reason for that is because they said that the things happening in these volumes were happening to him in real life, which is insane to think about. That's a really good selling point. If you don't know, this isn't just like a collection of like different horror stories. I mean, it kind of is, but they all revolve around the same plot line, the same story. And so it's going to, even though I've only read through one volume out of the 3, I feel like they're going to have like some sort of connection to each other that starts really piecing together here soon. The panels are done beautifully. It is so creepy. It is so freaky, and I can't wait to tell you about these. I'm going to be reading the other 2 volumes here soon. And I mean, I keep saying I want to put a video about all these series and stuff, but the PTSD Radio, I think I really do, because I think a lot of people just don't know about the series, and a lot of people hype up like Junji Ito and stuff, and you know, Junji Ito, great mangaka, especially in horror, and I think this series as well, PTSD Radio, is one that a lot of Junji Ito fans will love. All right, next up is an epic. I don't know if this is actually seinen or shonen. I call this seinen because it gets pretty graphic in like volume 1, 2, and 3, I would say, in what I have read. But this is the beloved Vinland Saga. I think season 2 is about to end in terms of airing for the anime at the time of this recording. They just recently put out a trailer for like the final episode or something like that of season 2. I'm not 100% sure. This is book number 7 of these Kodansha volumes. If you want to get into Makoto Yukimura's series, Vinland Saga, I highly recommend getting into the collector's edition. Vinland Saga has plans here very, very soon. I've put it on screen for you right now of putting out like collector's volumes of this series. If you are okay spending a little bit more money, getting a little bit more than just one volume, that'll probably be the easiest way to get these series, because these are hardback books. I don't think these will be printed a ton extra like you usually would like a regular Viz Media volume. I don't know exactly what print run this one is per se, but I do know that it's getting harder to find these Vinland Saga volumes for me in IRL, so go get it while you can. I love this series. Thanks, shout out to Trey for getting me into the series. A Yen Press series that kind of flies under the radar a little bit, I feel like, is Kowloon Generic Romance. This is volume 3. Kowloon has been making a little bit of noise in the manga community. For those people, this is just way more than a romance series. There's mystery in here, there's a little bit of drama in here. Kowloon, very, very pretty series as well. The art is beautiful in these volumes from what I've seen. I'm not up to date. I mean, I haven't read this yet, so I'm not all the way up to date, but I have started in volume 1. Impacted me pretty well. That's why I went out and bought volume 2, and now I have volume 3, so I'm keeping reading it, and I'll tell you more as time goes on, but I'm very excited for that, as well as now finally being finished with Hell's Paradise volume 10 and 13. These are the final 2 volumes I needed to be able to have all 13 volumes of this completed series of Vinland Saga. Yuji Kaku's story and art, excellent, excellent, excellent. I've been loving the anime. I know a lot of people have too. It's been one of the top animes in people's opinion this season. This is a graphic series as well, but one with a lot of drama, mystery, kind of that supernatural setting, stuff that I love. And it's not a super long series, you know, it's not like Black Clover or One Piece or anything like that. This is just 13 volumes. These are a little bit bigger and a little bit more pricey, but I think it's pretty good bang for your buck because these are done well, they're produced well. I think and they're awesome stories as well. Speaking of the double up volumes, I've got triple up this time around. I've got the next 3 volumes I needed for Rascal Does Not not dream of in that series. I got number 6, Dreaming Girl, does not dream of Dreaming Girl. I got 7, does not dream of his first love. And volume 8, does not dream of a sister venturing out. I think Sister Venturing Out and the next volume are the ones that are going to be in the upcoming Rascal Does Not Dream of movie. The other volume is Knapsack Girl, I believe. I'm very excited in these novels. I love the Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai series. Very, very good books in my opinion. Very also just very well done anime production. So I'm excited to see how it really gets translated into these light novel volumes. I think it's going to be done really well. Hajime Kamoshida and Keiji Mizoguchi have been highly regarded in this series, have done an excellent job, and I'm excited to see where the story goes. I'm thinking about catching up in the Rascal Does Not Dream of series, like starting like I did with Don Machi, like before the next anime production comes out in the United States, the movie releasing in theaters, or reading up the volumes up to that point just to remember, because the movies, much like something like Demon Slayer, are impactful on the story. It's not just like they're just going to go on this side quest, I think. So it'll be impactful. It's something that I want to get into, and it's something I'm excited to get into. The next one I got, I've seen the anime before. I'm just now catching up a little bit as time goes on. Beastars Volume 4, Beastars. Very good drama series, in my opinion. This gets a lot of interesting stuff because Paru Itagaki, kind of like in his manga in Beastars, sometimes has like that more rough line setting, I would feel like, which is what captured people's hearts in the Beastars series. I think it's like 25 volumes or something like that, 21 to 25. And then when the anime came out, being 3D CGI, a lot of people just groaned and stuff, but I stuck through. I mean, I saw the anime first before I read the manga, but it's really good and really well done, in my opinion. It's probably one of the better CG and probably the best CG anime that I have watched in terms of like entirely all CGI. It's way better than Ari Ferretta. Another series that I thought did really well, and it's also on Netflix along with Beastars that you can watch, Uncle from Another World Volume 2. If you don't want the drama, you don't want like the romance, you don't want the crazy epic story, pick up Uncle from Another World. It is so funny. It's like a reverse isekai parody type of deal. Uncle slept for 7 to 14 years or something like that in a coma, wakes up, he has all of his powers for the last 14 years or whatever when he was isekai'd into this other world, and he still has them and stuff, and he makes jokes like he's like wondering what happened to the Sega Genesis, like just fun stuff that's easily relatable for someone of my age. And so it's in these adventures, it's telling these stories, kind of also showcasing some of the characters in there as well. It's so funny, it's well done. If you just need a really good laugh and you're someone who likes isekai or makes fun of isekai, like this is something that could be right up your alley. I mean, I love Uncle from Another World. I also really like Death Note. This is volume 4 of the Black Edition. I think there's 6 Black Editions overall, so I'm 2/3 of the way done with collecting Death Note Black Edition finally. This is the way, in my opinion, to collect Death Note. I mean, these are omnibus volumes, technically, collector's omnibus volumes. You can get like an all-in-one Death Note edition, but very good series in my opinion. Very stunning as well. If you want to get into anime manga, this is one of the ones that people will always tell you is like the beginner anime. I mean, literally, I've just recently introduced someone to watching anime more often. They've watched anime before, but like just a lot more, and they were like, what would you recommend? And I was like, Death Note. So very good. Death Note doesn't really need much introduction outside of that. It's a very well-known series. But staying on the topic of Death Note, I saw this in an FYE, and I had never heard of this before, and there's probably a couple reasons why I'd never heard of this before, but this is a light novel type of deal of Another Note. Death Note Another Note, the Los Angeles BB murder cases. This takes place in the timeline before Kira, and this follows L and Elle's group, like doing the murder cases. I forget her name, Stacy, Ray Penbar's wife. I think this is the stuff that they reference in the anime, you know, how the wife was on Elle's team at one point, like doing these cases. I think this is the murder case that they directly reference in the series, and so I'm excited to get into it at some point. I don't really know anything about it. I haven't really heard anything about it, and that's probably because either A, people just don't know about it wasn't very well marketed, or B, it's really bad. And I'm excited to find out which one, because why not? I like Death Note. There's a series by Seven Seas, though, that just recently came out that I know nothing about, though, and it's called The Valiant Must Fall. I remember reading this premise a while ago in here. She is sort of like immortal. If she claims to be like the immortal's person's daughter or whatever, and so she's gonna spare this guy who, you know, he was in this former country and now he's like roaming around, you know, he's like, oh, whatever. He almost acts as like a mercenary assassin kind of guy, and he's gonna assassinate this group. Comes across this girl, she saves him. So what is the exchange in there? I'm excited to see this. I think I saw a couple panels as well of this series before it came out, and it seemed interesting. And these covers as well, I don't think Seven Seas has done this too much. Seven Seas has like made this kind of cover where you like open it and then you can open it in here. Like, it's not a cover of a cover. Like, it's not the cover of a cover. It is the cover. It's just folded and can extend out, which is very, very interesting. So I don't know why that usually is. I don't know if this is like, I don't think this is like a manhwa or anything like that originally. Or this is, I mean, this is something that like Denpa Books has done recently, I feel like, as well. So I'm excited to get into this. So, I mean, it could be really bad. I haven't heard anybody talk about this, so I don't know if even a lot of people know that this has come out. One that a lot of people should know, I would say, is this gambling series. Speaking of Denpa, this is Kaiji Gambling Apocalypse. I want to say Kaiji number 8 because I keep thinking of Kaiju number 8, but no, those are completely different series. If you like something like Kakegurui, you watch Kakegurui, think that but less horny in the sense. This is like gambling battle royale, or not battle royale. This is like gambling death game. So if you like Squid Game or whatever, maybe I highly recommend that you watch Mother's Basement's video to jump on this series. That video came out when Squid Game really blew up. But again, it's about gambling. It's in a death game setting. I've heard so many good things about this. I think volume 4 just recently released, and I finally found volume 1 while I was in another state, like at a Barnes and Noble, and I was like, oh my gosh, let me get that right now. So I'm very excited for this and excited to see how this takes me. These are thick volumes too, over by Denpa, so I'm very excited for this stuff. I hope that Denpa continues producing more volumes of that, because I think it's still technically an ongoing series. Either that or it's a really long series. Another long series that's 45 volumes recently released what I think is quite possibly the biggest art book I have. This is The Art of Haiku, Endings and Beginnings. This is the volleyball anime. I've got some volumes of this that I've been showing off lately. It's been starting to get more and more haiku. This is a beloved sports series, one of a lot of people's favorite sports series, including my own, and I'm so happy to get this, and it's such high quality too from Viz. I love art books. I've been wanting to get into more art books lately, and so this fits the bill. The Shonen Jump love on this, and I'm excited to see how this continues. And well, I mean, I guess haiku's not really, I'm excited to see where the movie goes. That's what I mean. Oh, another thing that I got recently was a little bit, again, out of my comfort zone. I recently, if you do not recall the video where chat stole my credit card and bought manga, somebody put in Skip Beat Volume 1. Skip Beat's like a 48 volume series right now, 47 or 48. It's an ongoing Is it Shojo? It's either Shojo or josei. I'm so sorry. I'm not 100% sure. I put it in on screen down below. I'm just going from memory right now. Oh gosh, these are not in order. But recently, I found a ton of Skip Beat volumes at a half price book. And let me tell you, they were half price. And I've looked at a couple of these and I haven't checked them all, but I do believe that a lot of these are first prints as well. So honestly, like really cool, because Skip Beat, let me see when volume 2 was produced. Where did volume 2 go? This second volume of Skip Beat was printed, first printing in 2006. So old series, especially of the Shojo Beat era, I will say. And man, I have now, don't need to see that receipt of how much money I spent. And now I have the first 13 volumes of Skip Beat. I got up to volume 13 here. That was the last one that I had. And that's the, I basically like, I have volume 1 at the half price books. They had like volume 2 to 13 to like a bunch of other scattered, a couple other scattered volumes, not a bunch, a couple. And so I decided, you know what, I'm jumping in on it. Skip Beat is a series that I should have gotten into sooner because, well, chat told me to read it and bought it for me. So here I am jumping in. Here I am, Maki, buying it. I'll read it and I'll probably tell you all about it. Ho ho ho! We're in the back half of this haul video now, and we've got The Dangers in My Heart Volume 1. This is a brand new anime that's been airing over on High Dive, and I've heard really good things about it. I don't know how I feel exactly about, like, I'm sorry, this main character, because he seems like an edgelord, and I don't know, it might hit a little bit too close to home, but I'm excited for this series. I've heard plenty of other people like Gregory Senpai on my Twitter talk about this series and hype up this series, so I'm excited to see how this goes, where it is, this 7 Seas print. I think the art is not that bad. Another series that's been making some noise in romance. I got the first 2 volumes of Skip and Loafer. I got volume 1 because I was like, whoa, I finally see volume 1 here. I know it's been kind of going out of stock at a lot of places because of the new anime that's been airing for Skip and Loafer. That's also been doing really well. I think it's like the top romance series going on right now, or one of the top romances, maybe not the top, but up there as one of the top. Just a very comfortable and loving duo between the male and the female MCs in this series. Skip and Loafer, I think, is what their names are. But anyways, I got volumes 1 and 2 right here. I'm sure I'll enjoy this series. I see clips of the anime like all the time on my timeline now, and like pictures and stuff, and even panels of what those moments are in the anime that's been airing, and it's looks like a lot of fun. Another series that's a lot of fun because I've watched it, Mob Psycho. I've got volumes 3 and 4. It's been a while since I picked up a Mob Psycho volume. For a while I was like, oh, the art just doesn't hit the same. But then I like thought about that statement and I was like, yeah, because the animation is some of the best animation of all time. Like, how do you hit that? And so I've decided, you know what, after rereading the first volume and stuff, I was like, I like this. And so I've convinced myself into getting more Mob Psycho. I really loved Mob Psycho. I love the anime. I will recommend it to anyone who wants action and loves just like a wholesome character that you want to protect with all your heart and soul, no matter the travesty that is coming upon you. You just want to protect them. Like, Mob Psycho is a series that I will 100% recommend to people. It is so good. It is so fun. It is so awesome. And I'm excited to see where it continues in art form. It's done in Japan, but it's still releasing in the United States with Dark Horse, as I mentioned earlier. So be on the lookout. A series that I don't know anything about except for the mangaka Rumiko Takahashi is Rinne. That's how you say it, because that right up there is the katakana Rinne. Rine. It's almost like my last name. Whoa, that's kind of crazy. But anyways, this is an old Shonen Sunday series from the legendary Rumiko Takahashi, the creator of Inuyasha, Urusei Yatsura, a bunch of others that I've also recently talked about lately with Mermaid Saga, Mao, Maison Ikoku. And so I saw these also at a half price book. They were half priced as well, and they're not, I mean, they've got a little bit of yellowing on them, but for the most part, they're pretty all right. And so I was like, okay, why not just check it out? Why not get into it and see what it's about? I don't really know exactly what it is, except there's like a fantasy supernatural aspect in this, and I think it's also like a romance. I'm not 100% sure. Where on earth is the print run? I'm obsessed with like looking at the print runs. This is a second printing volume, August 2011 for volume 1, and then this one is a first printing from January 2010. So excited to get these early volumes of Rine in my collection and maybe to jump on it a little bit more. I mean, I like Rumiko Takahashi's work, so this is just another series to jump into. She's slowly becoming like in my like top 3 mangaka, I feel like. I mean, you have Tatsuki Fujimoto, you have Tatsuya Endo. I mean, there's just, she's really getting up there as like top 3 mangaka in my opinion. Another classic shoujo though, that one that a lot of people will probably be familiar with, Banana Fish. This is volume 4 by Akimi Yoshida. And this is an excellent series a lot of people have talked about. Now that I have 4 volumes, you know, these volumes are not easy to get, these old Viz Media volumes, and I haven't really read any of them, I'll be honest. But I've been jumping on them because a lot of people talked about how like they're so hard to get and like they recently got reprinted. So I've just kind of been picking these up as I see them. And you know what? Maybe it's about time that I should get into reading it and talk to you about Banana Fish and see what the hype is all about, or just save me a lot of time if I don't like it. I don't know. But I've heard good things about this. I've heard that this is like a much darker shoujo series. Like one, I mean, by darker, what I mean is like people who maybe like me that aren't necessarily accustomed to shoujo series. This is not something that you would usually think of when you first think of like a shoujo series. And there's a lot of other ones like that. Colleen's Manga Rex does a great job of detailing a lot of other series that you should get into to kind of break that stereotype of shoujo manga. So excited to see where that goes, especially excited as well as I am collecting more One Punch Man. This is a part of the Books A Million buy 2 get 1 free sale. I bought a lot of One Punch Man and a lot of another series actually that I'll be talking to you about shortly. This is volume 7 through 10. I've got volume 10 right here of One Punch Man. One Punch Man, an excellent comedy / superhero action series. If you love action, you also love a lot of comedy as well. This is one that you should get into. It is so fun. I watched season 1 of the anime. It is so good. I'm excited to get into reading and then get past season 1 of the anime to be able to continue on enjoying the series. Oh, I almost forgot. I didn't grab these at first. I completely forgot I got 5 and 6 as well. So I got 5 through 10 of One Punch Man, just to let you all know. I also bought several of this series too, volumes 11, 12, 14, and 15 of Haiku. Again, going back to the Haiku, and you may be thinking, Jake, wait, 11 through 14, what happened? And that's because my volume 13 that I bought was damaged and I had to send it back to Books A Million. So hopefully I'll be getting a replacement for that volume. The cover just like completely ripped. I think I put a picture of it on screen for you all, but hopefully I get more. I love Haiku. I love the series. Arguably my favorite sports manga of all time, and I'm just so excited for it and excited to probably near the end here soon, I would think, just like I'm nearing the end and have completed The Promised Neverland. I finished it out 17 through 20. I believe there was a sale of the Viz volumes of The Promised Neverland, and so I just rattled it all out, finished out the series. Hopefully it's just, I just hope that it's so good. The Promised Neverland, a beloved manga series, a hated anime, at least in season 2. And I've been really contemplating. I've gotten some feedback lately, I think, in the last couple of videos that I've showcased and talked about the Promised Neverland. I've talked about like, ooh, I'm thinking about reading it and then watching the anime, or watching the anime and then reading it. What do you all recommend? And you all have left me some good feedback. So if you haven't yet, let me know some feedback down in the comments about the order of what I should do it, because I still want to watch the anime because I just like watching anime. I mean, I watched Ari Ferretta, I watched Tokyo Ghoul. Like, I can handle a bad adaptation. Ari Ferretta being one of my favorite series of all time. Just like this other favorite series of all time, I've got these 2 volumes of the Days of Goddess in Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. I believe these are both, yeah, these are both 4-panel comics. These are like side stories, I guess. This is just part of my quest to have all the Danmachi volumes, because Danmachi, I would say, it's up there as my favorite series of all time. I think Chainsaw Man, I'm pretty sure Chainsaw Man takes the cake, but Danmachi is like a very, very close second place. Danmachi, though, has my favorite side story, also has kind of like my favorite ongoing storyline, I guess you would say, as well. But Chainsaw Man, just a little bit above with the art, the beautiful story, beautiful story is in like the twists and turns and the chaos of the story, the action as well. But these are very good as well, in my opinion. These are 4-panel comics, as I mentioned, so excited to maybe jump into these in like a more casual setting. You know, it's not anything super serious. They're all in these chibi forms, so something that, you know, not a lot of Danmachi fans talk about or have, I feel like. So excited to get these and hopefully more. These are by Yen Press, by the way, and I'm so excited to get Memoria Freeze as well. Memoria Freeze is the next Danmachi like side story, but it's based off the video game, so I'm excited to see where that goes because I haven't played the video game yet. But this next volume by Matoba is Studio Apartment, Good Lighting, Angel included. So volume 1 came out of this Yen Press series and I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite fun. I thought it was quite cute. It doesn't seem like anything that has like a super big plot or anything like that. Just kind of seems like a very cute romance, and I like the art in it. Some of it was a little confusing at times, but I'm excited to see where volume 2 goes because I think I'll still enjoy it for that just kind of slice of life aspect of just enjoying life, you know, and enjoying it with the angel and enjoying beautiful art as well, and just goofy characters and how they interact. So excited to see this. I didn't even think volume 2 was going to come out because it was so silent on after volume 1. I was like, so is volume 2 going to come at any time? Like, is it canceled? Like, are you not doing it anymore? I have no idea. I'm so fearful now after learning about Heaven's Door, Angel Beats. I've talked about it in a previous video, but it's, gosh. All right, change the transition to a change of clothes because it'll be later after my trip from New York in the month of May, so I may have more manga. And I'm back from New York. I got a whole bunch of books, so we got to get going on this. The first one here is from Denpa. I've actually already read this. I read this during my trip. I picked this up in a Barnes & Noble. Heavenly Delusion Volume 1. This is an anime right now that is currently airing. This is an ongoing series, I believe. This is like post-war apocalyptic type stuff. Definitely some supernatural elements as well, some action adventure. This was a really, really fun and good volume 1. I'm super excited to read more into this. There's a lot of depth in terms of the plot, the story, the mystery of the things, the characters themselves. So I'm really excited to see where this is going. And, you know, I gotta pick these up because I think like volume 6 or 7 released the other day this past month, so I got some catching up to do. I got these in a Right Stuff haul. I got this one's in the wrong spot. I got volume 16 through 21 of Haiku. I'm back on the Haiku grind, I think this is the second portion of Haiku that I've bought, but I'm really grinding into Haiku. I'm trying to get all 45 volumes here before it starts getting really, really hard, like when the movie and stuff comes out. So, and I think I'm kind of like in the bulk part. Like, I've got the hard stuff out of the way. I think the teens are kind of the hardest from what I've seen online and stuff, but I think generally most of the stuff you can find online, and they're definitely going to reprint the series, so I wouldn't worry too much. We've got another one here, volume 6 of Fly Me to the Moon. Yeah, volume 6 right here. Did I show volume 5 and stuff earlier? I don't even remember. It's been a whole week. This is a super fun and super wholesome series as well, and it's two people that get married, and it's their marriage with each other. It's their relationship, and there's a bunch of characters that appear in a bunch of different subplots as well in this story, but there's also a little bit of mystery, at least in the first couple volumes. So very excited to continue on now that I have the first 6 volumes. I know a lot of people that really love this series, so I'm excited to get into this, get into the hype with them, just as much as I'm excited to get into the hype of volume 1 of Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun. I don't know if this is a new release. I know it's a newer release. I don't know exactly when this released. It's in like the last 2 months. This is the only volume that's out right now from Kodansha. This is a fun comedy, in my opinion. This is about a kid who gets his soul sold by his parents, so sold to demons, and so the demon that buys elects him into demon school. And demons, by the way, eat humans. So as a regular Joe Schmo human over here, he's got to convince everyone in school that he is not a human, he is a demon. So a lot of funny stuff that can come across in these volumes. In volume 1, it already packed a good array of characters and stories and just fun jokes. Like, I laughed the entire time I was reading this series. I know it's got an anime out. Oh my gosh, my eye. And I think 2 seasons have been involved already in the anime, or season 2 is currently in production. I'm not 100% sure which one it is, but I know a couple of people that are really into this series. And honestly, if you're looking for like a cool, fun fantasy comedy that's just really full of laughs, then this one is one that you should pick up, because it's probably still plentiful on shelves being so new. Another series that's got the comedy but a little bit more serious at times, it's Candy and Cigarettes volume 4. I read volume 1. I really liked volume 1, and I haven't really read any since. I need to keep reading, just like, you know, Elusive Samurai, things like that. I need to start reading these other volumes that I'm getting in series that I enjoy, to see if, you know, after volume 4, if it's something that I really want to stick to. I liked volume 1, but up to volume 4, you know, when the story starts to delve a little deeper, is it still worth doing? This is a series about a hitman, or like an assassination organization. This guy retires and then ends up getting tangled into more assassination work with this group. And if you're a fan of Sakamoto Days, this is something that's very similar. I prefer this series over Sakamoto Days. That's probably not a popular opinion at all, but there's definitely some fun in this series. There's some mystery as well through the different characters in this group, because this gal is like, she is like 12 or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff that they can flesh out in these characters in the later volumes as well. It's definitely a more serious tone than like a Sakamoto Days, I feel like. A story though that I need a lot of people to read and or watch the anime that's been going on right now, because the anime actually is farther. Yeah, the anime is definitely farther at the time of this recording to this second volume that just released like last week or earlier this past week, whenever this video comes out. It is Oshinoko volume 2. So this is this an isekai? This is a story about idols. This is a story about everything about idols. The bright lights, the fashion, the excitement, the show business of it, but also the dark side of the show business of idols, the reality of what it is behind the scenes that we don't necessarily see when we watch like a reality show. This follows several people in their adventures, and I'm not going to talk too much about it in terms of the actual plot, because I personally think if you haven't read volume 1 is honestly like one of the most impactful volumes in terms of a plot and story and like twists and things like that I have read that just really drive the narrative from then on. So that's all I'm gonna leave it at in terms of Oshi no Ko, in terms of what the story is about. But I think Aka Akasaka and Mengo Yokoyari have done a phenomenal job with this series. I've actually started reading it online as well. I wanted to just watch the anime and follow along with the manga, but I've been enjoying the anime so much, so good, that I've just decided to stick into the manga as well and just watch the manga. So very, very excited to get more of Oshi no Ko. It's honestly my favorite series to start up in 2023. But now let's move into a little bit of the shoujo again. It is Sasaki Miyano Volume 8. So I think this is after graduation now. Yeah, so this dives deeper of post-graduation of Sasaki and Miyano over here in this boy's love. I have not read this yet because I haven't read the manga. I've only watched the anime, and I haven't seen the OVA yet because I've just been so slammed and also trying to read manga, so that's less time to watch anime. But anyways, in terms of a boy's love, this is my favorite boy's love of all time. I love Sasaki Miyano. It's so wholesome. It's so cute. It's so adorable. I've never seen two people so perfect for each other, and I love how they kind of adore each other as well, and just so willing to learn as well about each other, and just like love each other for who they are. And God, it's so wholesome. Another series that is also insanely wholesome. It's so wholesome. No, this one is not wholesome. That's my harem manga. This one is very wholesome, and it's arguably my favorite shoujo that I have. A Sign of Affection Volume 6. This is a brand new release. It feels like forever since the shoujo community got this volume, the next volume in the series, but it is just, it's so good. If you do not know, this is a story about a disabled person who is this girl here on the left, and then this other person here who is not disabled. She has a hearing impairment, as you can kind of maybe see with the hearing aids over there on her. But this is also a story about learning. This is also a story about trying to understand another individual and loving an individual who they are. And this is a beautiful series in my opinion. I gotta read volume 5 and then volume 6 as well, and I might do that tonight, I don't know. But the way that this series also portrays like sign language, I've talked about it in previous videos before, but I feel like sign language is a very hard thing to portray in still imagery as manga. But I think Sue Morishita has done an excellent job with this series in the first couple volumes up to this point, that has made it one of the beloved shoujo, like modern ongoing shoujos currently at this time. It's definitely a good read. Another one that a lot of people have been saying is a really good read, and I haven't read the first one yet. I really need to, because these volumes don't come out very quickly and they're very large volumes, so it takes a little bit to read. It is Yokohama Kaidaishi Kiko. Hopefully I said that right. This is the deluxe edition. This is an older series, older being originally printed in about 2009, but coming out in these deluxe editions by 7 Seas. And these are beautiful in my opinion. I love the colors on this page. And from what I heard about the premise, it's something that really, I think, interests me. It's kind of like a slice of life, kind of, I don't know if it's seinen, but like the end of the world is coming, and this kind of like robot person, who I assume is this person, again, I haven't read it yet, this is just the premise of what I know. She works in this like coffee shop, and even though this robot kind of knows the end of the world is coming and things like that, like it's the everyday life of coming to that scenario. And so that's what I'm pretty sure this is about. I do want to read this soon because I know some people like Boogie Snacks have really marked up this series and have talked a little bit about it. I don't know if in an official video, but definitely in like hauls and things like that, not necessarily video essays. But I've seen some of the art in this. If you look in like side, they have some of the colored panels of like the old manga volumes, and they just look absolutely beautiful. I love these beautiful pictures. This art style as well is very, very nice, and just has a lot of fun inside of it, I feel like, and so I'm excited to get into it and see what this is about. One that I do know what it's about, though, is the Duke of Death and his maid. This is kind of a comedic romance, as you can say, except the two in here, these two love interests, they cannot touch each other because this is the Duke of Death. He's been cursed and everything he touches dies, and so he's in love with his maid, and honestly, his maid's down bad for him as well. So it's kind of navigating that relationship and understanding one another. The anime, I believe, is farther than the manga. Actually, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I don't want to open that too gracefully, but I think overall it's coming really close because I don't think another season of the anime has come out yet, even though it's in production currently right now. But this is a funny, fantastic story. It's a different aspect of like your rom-coms, especially kind of like your high school age rom-coms. It's not a school setting, it's like the manor, the mansion type setting, and the maid, obviously, but there's no weird age gap in here. Like the maid I hired is recently mysterious. I've talked about that one. I actually sold all my volumes for that because I just don't like that. But anyways, this is a fun one. I really enjoy it. It's got a lot of humor in it that a lot of people will like, so go check it out. As well as this series, Blue Period. This is one of my favorites. I love Blue Period. I love this story. This is a story about art and chasing passion, learning about your passion, art. It follows Yatora in his drive to make art his life. He started very, very late, so he's kind of like behind the wheel. He started out late compared to a lot of other people just joining in high school, and I think a lot of us can agree on that in like the adult setting, where like, man, I wish I would have jumped into this sooner, or I wish I would have started this sooner, or maybe you did start something late as well, and you know you're also in the same situation of navigating it, whether you're in college, whether you're in high school, whether you're in your adult life. And so it's very, very good in my opinion. There's a lot you learn about art as well, and it actually made me think as well in terms of art, because this is gonna date this video a little bit. I just watched Colleen's video about My Girlfriend's Child, the recommendation, but it was a video, spoiler alert, it was a manga recommendation video that also taught a lot about art and cinematography and how cinematography has translated into manga. And I think Blue Period has that same effect, not necessarily in the same aspect of cinematography, but in the aspect of like art, except this one's a little bit more direct, where you learn a lot more about art. But I think a lot of things that Colleen said in that video, which I very much recommend you should watch, can apply to a series like Blue Period. So definitely want to go check it out. 13 volumes deep. It is a long series, but it's a very good one, and I've heard this one's very good too. This has got people talking all over Twitter. It is Don't Call a Mystery, the first omnibus volume over, who did this? 7 Seas. This, I believe, is Shojo, but this is a detective series. This is this won a lot of awards. This has sold a lot. I see a lot of the tweets of like the Oricon. I'm not 100% sure how to say it, but I see the sales of this series, and it does really, really well, especially when new volumes release. And from the creator of historic series like Basara that have taken the tale, because I believe now you can read it on either the Viz or the Shonen Jump app, one of those two, or Manga Plus or something like that. It recently got online. A lot of people have been reading these series. So Yumi Tamura, I am jumping into this. This will be my first series, I believe, by them. So I'm very excited into this, because a lot of people, again, if you want a hefty volume that a lot of people have been hyping about, because this is an omnibus edition. This series in English is being serialized and printed as Omnibus 1 and 2 is this first one. So you'll get a pretty good indication of if you like it or not. And I've seen like the art in here too. The art in here is very, very nice. And there are some moments, I don't know if I'll be able to pick one out for you without, you know, spoiling something for you or myself. But there's some really good panels in here, or just like side sketches as well, like at the end of a chapter or the beginning of a chapter, like, you know, those little like rough edges, there's like rough sketches that are in the corner. I love those things, and they do that in here. And some of those panels also are just like, God, they're really, really funny. Another omnibus series, this one not originally in omnibus, but is being reprinted in omnibus format by Kodansha. Fire Force. This is volume 4. This is from the creator of Soul Eater, Atsushi Okubo. And Fire Force is what I consider, I think I've said this like 1,000 times every time that pops up on Fire Force. It is my favorite series in terms of audio. I think it does audio better than any other anime that I've watched, and I've enjoyed the anime, which is farther than these omnibus volumes, and I've enjoyed the manga that I've read so far. This omnibus volume contains volumes 10 through 12. I think there's 35 or something volumes out overall. It is a completed series over in Japan, and I think the final volume came out in English, or it's the next volume. Not 100% sure on that. It's late and I want to start editing this video, so I didn't do a lot of research. But anyways, Fire Force, really, really good action, really, really good fun, good shonen fun. I think typically it's one of those that if you don't know Fire Force, get it on your radar. In the final volume of this haul, it is an old webtoon being printed by 7 Seas, Yakuza Fiance Volume 3. I read Yakuza Fiance, at least the volumes that I have before this, and it's pretty good. I will say I didn't really think it was gonna be my cup of tea when I first started, but it keeps me on edge. It like keeps me in. It hooks, line, and sinkers me into this series, and I have been enjoying the volumes. Even it's like killing stalking. Like, I've been enjoying the volumes, but I haven't really been enjoying the volumes. But it's a different type of enjoyment that's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like playing Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Like some of you may judge me, but I do enjoy playing and watching people play and following the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's that same kind of like anxiety, you know, when you play Five Nights at Freddy's, of like, you know you're going to die, but you don't know how you're going to die. It's not exactly a one-to-one comparison in Yakuza Fiance, but I feel like sometimes it gives me like that edge of like, oh, something's gonna happen, maybe something, I don't know, something feels like it's gonna happen, something might happen, I don't know, but it's a very cool series. It's very fun, and I think is flying under the radar for a lot of people. So go check out Yakuza Fiance if you want something a little bit more edgy, serious. I don't know if those were the right words. I got some other things in New York that aren't necessarily manga, but I kind of wanted to show you all anyway because they're anime related. I got all of these Ocean Bomb One Piece drinks. I have another series of these Ocean Bomb drinks, but I only have 3 of the 4. But this time around, when I went to New York, I found all 4 of the 4. And so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try them and put them in a video. I don't know if the 3 that I had are different flavors, but I do know that there's at least a 4th one, if the other ones are the same, that I've tried. And I don't really remember them too much. I think I remember one of them if they're the same. But anyways, that's one thing that I got, and maybe a future video to look out for. I also got this poster kind of thing. I mean, I didn't pay too much for this. It's literally just a print of volume 12 of Danmachi's light novel cover, but the reason that I bought this, I wouldn't have bought it because it's so cheap, and it's not like a high definition photo. Like it definitely only cost someone like 30 cents to print. Like this case, this sleeve case, this top loader is more expensive than the print itself. But again, the reason that I bought it is 1, Danmachi is my favorite series of all time, and 2, which is the main reason, I actually just recently read volume 12. I watched the anime, season 4 of the anime, and I think season 4 is the best season of Danmachi that I've watched. And so volume 12 and volume 13, and I think a little bit of volume 14, I haven't gotten to 14 yet, but I've read volume 12 and 13, part of that season for the anime, and I loved volume 12. Volume 12 fleshed out the villain so much more than what the anime did, and made it so much more sinister, so much more, I don't know, it was crazy. It was so good. And so it's one of my favorite Danmachi volumes. It's right up there with volume 8. I have a little bit of recency bias. I don't know if it's above volume 8 on my list of favorite Danmachi volumes, but volume 12 is at least second place, and it's very, very close. So really enjoyed it. So I saw this and I was surprised to see this as well, because I was like, wow, out of all the anime posters that you could print of like popular anime, I did not expect this one. So I got that, and then the final thing is not necessarily anime, but it's anime community. Jeff Thu, Mother's Basement, they had a Yutu's figure that is limited edition, and as someone who enjoys Jeff Thu videos, like he's an inspiration in terms of like being able to create videos and video essays of series that he loves, and also maybe trash series that he doesn't really love but loves to make fun of. I got the little figure as well. Now that's gonna be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I super appreciate it. There's a lot of manga in here, and I'm actually going to need a new bookshelf. Like, this is 100% serious. I'm gonna need a new bookshelf. So we're gonna probably, I don't know if I'll put that in a video building in, but definitely shelving, we're gonna put it in, because I think I'm gonna also rearrange things here. TBD, not 100% sure, but we'll figure it out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can check out the other videos that are up here on the channel. YouTube's recommending it, so you're probably gonna like it, so might as well just get into it, and let me know what you're reading, so then maybe I can get it at the bookstore.